Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today the latest kit from Arma Hobby in Poland, the Me-262A-1A, or the Schwalbe or Swallow as the Germans call it. Now it's 72nd scale, kit number 70083. Just come on the market. Retails for just £23. But hey, I should really explain as well at the beginning that this has been loaned to me by Neil from Creative Time Wasting channel on YouTube. But, as I was going to say, hey, there's only one 72nd scale 262 for me with the greatest artwork, or one of the greatest artworks on the box art in history. Of course, it's the Matchbox 262. And here is a very old example from many years ago that I did. Look at that. There's only one 262 for me. Look at that, complete with its Matchbox stand and everything. Isn't that cool? Yes, I think my model building techniques have improved a little since then. It was a while ago. Many decades ago. Anyway, there we go. Let's have a look at the very latest generation of model making process then in terms of kit building from Arma, who's one of our favourites. Now Arma have been strange for me because they came out with, they started off when they had the release of the Hurricane came out, didn't it, which was really nice, which was epic, and they did it in two scales. But they had a blip, didn't they, about 18 months ago with this Cobra, this P38, which the quality wasn't very good at all. Then they came out with the new Hurricane. Quality was superb. Did have some reservations about the scaleness on the 48th Hurricane though. On all the versions of it, they seem to have got this exaggerated rivets on the wing. It's not a major issue, it's very easily fixed actually. It's just still a bit odd, a bit out of character. But let's see what they've got here. So on the back, in their typical style, we have got three options. They give it in Polish first. So we've got the Officer Cadet Hans Guido Mutka. Mutka, yes, I wrote the first time. At Fürstenfeldbruck in Germany in April 45. Sorry, that's that one. And then we have got General Lieutenant Adolf Galland. Ooh, that's got to be the tempting one to go for. At Munchen Rhein in Germany in April 45. Adolf Galland, hero of the Battle of Britain, of course, and he was one of the exponents of the 262. Famously was very cross with Hitler when he wanted to make it a bomber, etc. And then we have got, in the Czech Air Force, we've got an aircraft at the Zatek airfield, post-war in the Czech Republic. Okay, so let's see what we've got then, because I'm intrigued about this. And Neil said, oh, do you want to try this? And I was like, yes, why not? Absolutely, because it's such an iconic aircraft, isn't it, really? 262, and it's got some nice artwork. Looks like it's tacking down a mountain pass in Austria or Switzerland or somewhere. So let's have a see. Best way of doing this. Now, they have got this end opening box design, so I'm not a big fan of, if I'm honest. Even though it does remind us of Matchbox. And they usually have this tray thing. Oh no, they don't have a tray. Okay. Well, that's changed. The 48 scale kits, they come out in like a tray, don't they? Which is quite handy because you can put your half-built model in it. So we've got one bag. Let's see what we've got then. Let's try and see if they can get back to, climb back to the top. They were in kits of the year, weren't they? Where did they come? Was it 9? I can't remember. I think they came 9. Memory serves me. 8 or 9, somewhere like that. Ooh, we've got some ball bearings, which are weights. That's a good idea. I think that all manufacturers should provide the correct amount of weight. So having some people just leave you guessing. Some say add weight but don't tell you how much. Some don't tell you exactly where to put it. And yeah, I think that Arma are quite good at this, in fairness. So we'll put those parts over there. That's safe. Let's have a look at what we got then. So what does it say? Now I think one of the things I love about Arma, they always give you a proper instruction leaflet with some real, proper, historical, factual history of the aircraft. And here we are again. So it says the Messerschmitt 262, it's very small print there, bear with me. The 262 was the world's first mass-produced jet fighter to enter combat service. Development of the aircraft began before the outbreak of World War II. However, technical difficulties with the jet engines and organisational decisions, Hitler, delayed the introduction into the frontline units until the spring of '44, by which time Germany's strategic situation had already become very critical. The primary role of the 262A-1A was to intercept Allied bomber formations. Its high maximum speed far exceeded the performance of contemporary piston-engined fighters, allowing it to rapidly engage its target and disengage from escorting fighters with ease. Till it was landing, and then the Mosquitoes and the Mustangs used to come down and blow the hell out of them. But anyway, heavy armament in the form of 4 30mm Mark 108 cannons enabled the effective destruction of heavy bombers with short bursts of fire. In combat, 30mm is nasty, that, and it's a big cannon, is that, for a fighter to carry. And it goes on to say the small number of sorry, I've jumped on. In combat, the 262 demonstrated its extraordinary potential, but its overall impact on the course of the war remained very limited. The small number of aircraft that were produced, the chronic fuel shortages, the engine reliability issues, and the effective Allied attacks on their airfields and logistical infrastructure prevented these jet fighters from ever influencing the outcome of the conflict. Nevertheless, the 262 secured its place in history as a truly groundbreaking design, setting the direction for fighter aviation development for decades to come. After the war, captured Me-262 aircraft were extensively examined by the Allied powers in Czechoslovakia. A short production run based on German documentation was launched, resulting in the Avia S92 and CS92. So was that the Avia? I'll just check that. Was that the Avia? Yes, that was the Avia, so it's a slightly different version. Okay, interesting. So that's the Czech one we just saw. It goes on to say, these aircraft remained in service until 1950, performing air defence duties. Today, the 262A-1A remains one of the most important and recognisable aircraft of the Second World War, a symbol of a technological leap that came a little bit too late to affect the war's outcome, yet permanently changed the face of military aviation. Very good, excellent write-up. Thanks, Arma, I enjoyed that. Okay, and then we've got some decals, which we'll look at immediately. We've got a mask. They're doing it right, aren't they, these guys? So we're getting a mask set. Here we go. Masks, very nice. And we're getting all, and I mean all the markings that we require, instead of having some silly politics creeping into this and trying to, use modern views and values and ethics to judge things from the 1940s. They just produce it in a non-offensive way, so we can have the symbol that we want, or you can just go for the Czech version after the war. But here you've got some beautiful, really nice, the Tech Mod, I think, aren't they? Oh no, it's Cartograph, okay. Oh, I think the last ones I saw were from Tech Mod for Arma, but this time it's Cartograph. So we know we're on to a winner with our decals. And, yep, here we go. Beautiful set of decals. Really nice, those are. And there's a lot of them, actually. There's some really nice, you've got the famous ones that go on the engines there, the little red circles. Beautiful. Very nice. I'm impressed already. So, let's have a look at the actual instructions themselves. And again, they're doing this in a very bit like Gas Patch or IBG. IBG are also from Poland, of course. But very nice, the illustrations with some colour. Not too busy, not too detailed. They're not dark. They're very, very clear and crisp. Look at that. Shows you where to put your ball bearings for your weights in the nose. Brilliant idea. Remove the bulge and rescribe the line. Rescribe the line. How dare you? I don't like that. I don't like having to cut noses off, remove bulges, and I'd get a bit cross with this. Even on the Mosquito that I'm building, I'm just going to have a little rant here, hold on. Rant alert. Even on the Tamiya Mosquito, there's a couple of, I don't understand this quite frankly, there's a couple of like vents and little hatches that were not right for that model. But Tamiya only produced this one version of the kit, so why they produced it with these clearly errors in it, actually, oh God forgive me, what am I saying? Tamiya, I mustn't say that. Oh, Uncle Steve will be very cross with me. But it's true, there are 2 or 3 things I had to remove, like a hatch that has to be removed, little bulges and little switches, and then sand it down. All a pain, and you can understand it if there were different versions of the kit, but there is only one version of the kit, so why did they do that? So I gave the wrong finger, then I meant to do that one, not the... Anyway, that was the Tamiya. Anyway, moving on. Rant a little over. But I'm just saying, it's just it kind of gets my goat. I can understand it when there's going to be several versions of a kit. Makes sense. But when there's only one version being released, it doesn't make any sense at all. And breathe. So, then we're going to build up our... Obviously, you've got the nose coming together. I like the way it's in 3 parts. Or do I? Not sure if I do like it now. I may have spoken too soon there. Anyway, you've obviously got your basic tub of your cockpit coming together then, complete with your stick here. And then we're going to start building it up, the whole area around the pilot, and then you've got the pilot seat here, instrumentation, putting in your actual instrument panel, dropping that in. There's also some instrumentation on the side panels as well. That's got to go in. I mean, I'm guessing a lot of this will be, you know, fuel pressure and revs for the 2 jet engines, etc. Pressurization of the tanks, all that kind of thing. Then you've got what's that? That's part of the canopy system, isn't it? I think part of the canopy slide mechanism. And then you've got sort of a cockpit tub ready to go in, really. Then you're going to build up your side panels in your cockpit sidewalls of the fuselage. Then you've got the wheel wells to create here, and what we've got to do here, open up the holes if you want to install the rockets. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? That's an optional choice. And then you've got some bend. Have we got some photo etch? Bend? What do they mean? Didn't see any photo etch. What's it talking about here? Bend. Bend gently for easier future montage. For easier future montage. Mounting, I think. I mean, something's got lost in translation. Anyway, yeah. So basically, it's your retraction system, isn't it, for the undercarriage? We'll look at it. Oh yes, very interesting. Then we've got our obviously mounting those around the wheel base. Then we've got our engines coming together here, UMO engines. They were Junkers UMOs, weren't they? I think, if I'm not mistaken. And dropping in your actual cockpit there, the tub going in, then 2 halves of the fuselage coming together in the normal way. And then you get quite a lot of joins, and then you got the nose coming on here. Hope it all fits okay. For marking option 3, that's the check option, fill in the opening for the guns. You can use our masks. You can use our masks, okay. Red lights going on the wingtip. And then you've got your slats at the front of the leading edge of the wing. Tailplane and the vertical stabiliser, horizontal stabiliser elevators and rudder going in. Got your big meaty 262 undercarriage coming in there, complete with retraction, hydraulic jacks. And then you've got because it's a tricycle, very advanced aircraft for its time, tricycle with a nose wheel, nose gear at the front. Not a tail sitter. It was going to be a tail sitter at first, wasn't it? I'm glad it wasn't, because it looked rather stupid, I thought. But I say that, of course, at that time people were used to tail sitters, so it probably didn't look as daft as it sounds now. We just got used to the nose wheel arrangement, I suppose. Then you got your nose retraction gear and the actual gear bay doors as well going on there. And then we're off to our armour plated windshield here, armour plating on the windscreen itself. And this is clever, isn't it? Here, let's just zoom in on that. They've done a bit of a Tamiya job here, which is very clever. They've got the front surround of the glass, the clear glass. This is all clear section, so that you don't have this problem of gluing in and having glue running and potentially fogging the glass on the clear part, you glue it on this much bigger area further down the nose, and of course there's no adhesive in contact with the actual what will be the glass. You'll just mask that off, the glass I mean, at the end before you start spraying, and then you'll just spray over this clear part and you'll never know it's clear. Excellent. Sliding canopy, central canopy window there, bubble. And it looks like we've got, oh this is clever, we've got like a jig for undercarriage placement. Look at this. Now isn't that cool? That's very Airfix, isn't it actually? Then we've got our rockets, what have we got here? Rockets and the rocket rails that they sit on under the wing, telling you the different colours they should be, and then the placement of them, like so. I've zoomed in too much. Come back a bit. There we go. And that's it. You've finished. Okay, so then you got your a number of stencils and decals to go on there. And then you go Arma Galland. Look at Galland's ship. That's the one to do, isn't it? That's the glamour money shot, that one. The Galland's plane. Or you can go for this slightly unusual post-war version that hasn't got the guns in it at the front. I'm not sure what the point is with no guns, but anyway. There we are. Well, I have to say, those instructions were wonderful. They were very clear. Seemed to tell you everything you needed to know. Jigs and all sorts. There's quite a lot of thought has gone into this kit, I think. That's excellent. In fact, it's reminding me of the little IBG Spitfire. That was a very similar sort of treatment and approach was very similar there. And that was a super kit, wasn't it? It really was. So, now this is where you might have to forgive me because I think it's so small I'm going to need my bigger glasses. And then I won't be able to really see you or tell if you're in focus on the camera. Let's have a look. Ooh, this is better than my Matchbox. But God forgive you all. Don't say things like that out loud, Peter Oxley. What are you thinking of? I'll be excommunicated from the Jedi Order of Matchbox. Anyway, you'll see what I mean. Look at this though, joking apart. Isn't it good? Look at this. Look at the finesse here of the panel lining here. That's just remarkable. I like the finish as well. It's got this sort of very silky satin finish, almost a matte finish really. Look at the quality of the panel lining. The little accents and the trim tabs and things on the rudder here. Over here, spin it round. You've got the tail. There's your rudder. Wow. Oh, I hate to tell you this, there's just the tiniest hint of flash. I don't know if you can see that. Being very critical here. But there's just a little hint of flash where my finger is on this frame for the canopy frame. A little bit of flash around here and there. And here. Can you see that? Just a touch of it. So it's a little bit of flash. Can't say I'm seeing it anywhere else though, in fairness. Maybe it's just that it's so fine. Yeah, it definitely is flash. See it? See it here. Yeah. But it's very beautiful. I mean, the actual moulding and the detailing of it. Look at those wheels. That's a bit better than Matchbox. Oh, I mustn't keep saying that. God. You got your nose wheel as well. Tyre. It's very nicely figured, isn't it? Look at that. And here you've got your slats as well. The leading edge slats for the wing, and then the other wing on the other side. And then over here we've got, oh, this is just exquisite. Look at this. And it's got the dihedral of the wing. Can you see that? Now, I think this is one area where Arma are particularly strong. I'm trying to remember what the other kit was that I did the review on of theirs. Was it the Hurricane or was it something else? Where they got this dihedral and they mould it into the actual part of the actual sprue itself, look, to give it the correct dihedral. See that? Isn't that nice? And again on the other side, on the underside of the wing, got it again. And the panel lining and the riveting is absolutely super fine here. Look at this. See that? Ooh, I like it, I like it. It's really detailed. I mean, there's nothing like that under my Matchbox. If you compare the two, I know it's very unfair to do this, okay? I hope the Matchbox gods don't strike me down for this. You see what I mean? There's a big difference there, isn't there? There really is a big difference there. Anyway, but look at this. Look at your UMO engine intakes here. Compressor blades. And here's the actual outer for the UMO engine. Actually, that's not the compressor blades, I beg your pardon. That's the actual exit. It's the rear. Here's the front. That's the compressor blades, the bigger ones at the front. You've got your little nose cone here. The actual tip of the nose. You've got your bombs. God forbid carrying bombs on an aircraft like this. What a stupid idea that was, mein Führer. Not an opinion I would have voiced if I'd have been in his ministry, I suspect, in 1940. Odd, but anyway. You know what I mean. Look at the rockets, look at the detail of those. Those are so exquisitely done, aren't they? I tell you what, it's a gorgeous kit. It's a gorgeous kit. It's very beautiful. And you know, I mentioned about the flash. There's no flash on this sprue at all that I can see. It must have just been something connected with those parts, mustn't it? Where was this jig? Oh, that's the jig. Oh, right. Now, hang on a second. So we've got some clear parts. Now, this is going to be a little bit complicated because they're not in a resealable bag. But that's not a problem because I can just cut them out and reseal it for Neil to go back to him. So just bear with me a second because I'll need to do it in a straight line. Just get the old cutter out. Actually, they haven't done it in a straight line, which doesn't really help. It's a bit of a funny angle, is that? Hold on a second, folks. Right. Now this is where the jig comes in. They've got this strange little jig. You see this? This is really clever. So this is to do with the positioning of the wings, wasn't it, and the undercarriage. So this is one half of it, and this is the other half. I'm just going to go back to the instructions. Just going back to the instructions where that jig was, because I thought it, when I saw it, I thought it was rather clever. Now I've got it in my hand, I need to understand it better. And I've kind of lost it. Where's it gone? Oh yes, there it is. Oh, I see. So yeah, jig for undercarriage placement. So what you do, you place it in the jig, which enables you to. Just going back to this. You place it in this jig, which you make up from the clear sprue outer. Yeah. And then it creates like a stand almost. And you put the aircraft in upside down. Obviously that's the wide bit, and that's the narrow bit. And then you can you use this. This is the outer here that they plug into, and there, the two holes here. And you've got a complete. That's a really good idea. Now, why aren't other manufacturers doing stuff like that? It's one of those things that some other manufacturer may look at this review and think, why didn't we think of that? You know. Clever, isn't it? That's really good. Then we've got our actual canopy and our bulletproof glass here. And then here's this very clever windscreen section that I talked about, where they've gone for the Tamiya style here, where they've got the whole surrounding, which you'll just mask off the window only, the windscreen only, and then you'll just spray it all. And it's got the same sort of like a slightly rougher texture to it, a bit more like the normal plastic. That shows genius, I think, in that design. And the clear parts are beautiful. I don't think they're not quite up to ICM standard. Now when I say that, to be fair, these two are nice, but this one is very distorted, if I'm honest. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. But that back one, the back bit of screen, is not to the standard of the other parts. It's really, well, that's not great either on this side. This isn't so special either. On this side, the main canopy. Can you see that? Yes, I think you can. And this. Front windscreen is beautiful. And on this side the canopy seems alright, but on this side it's not as nice. So I think they've got a little bit more work to do. I think I said this, was it on the Hurricane? I think I may have had a grumble about clear parts on that. But there's some elements of genius there. I really approve of their sort of creativity and methodology of how they've gone about it. They just need to, I was going to say they need to get a young man with a bamboo stick to get polishing their tool or something, but something like that. It's not quite to the standard of people like ICM, I don't think, but it's nice. It's very small, don't forget. It's got beautiful riveting down the centre of that canopy. It's a shame it's not quite as clear as I would like. I mean, I can see like lines in it. It's not really that great, if I'm honest. It isn't up to the best. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to tell this. If I move this behind it, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. Can you see? It's just not as fine as what we've seen elsewhere. But I like the design, I like the jig. That's a brilliant piece of work. They might just want to have a look at the tooling and how perfect it is, just in one or two areas. But it's got to be the nicest 262 in 72nd. I've probably got my normal glasses actually on. It's got to be the nicest 262 in 72nd scale that I've ever seen. I mean, that's better than Airfix. It's certainly better than Matchbox. She's very old, you know. That's more than 50 years old. It's actually, what is it, 53 years old, that tooling over there. But that's really nice. I think it's a cracking little kit. And it's for £23. You know, there's not much to complain about for 23 quid there, is there? I mean, that's just pocket money these days, to be honest. That is very nice. If you wanted to, you know, when you look at that finite, crisp panel lining, when you get things like a wash on that, that's going to really pop, I think. I think it would really build into an absolutely corking little kit. The only thing it really lacks is a stand. Wouldn't it be nice if they put a stand in like the old Matchbox kit's got over there? So there we go. So I'll pop that just to one side a little bit because I need to reseal that vinyl. But what a wonderful kit. I'm a bit disappointed they haven't kept up their idea of the tray there, because this does remind me too much of Revell, the presentation of the box. So I can appreciate they're trying to keep the price down. They're probably not trying to, you know, they can't afford to add perhaps some of the novelties they might do in other kits that are bigger and more expensive. But I would like to see that back. But yes, whilst I've got a slight reservation about those clear parts, apart from that, really, it's fantastic, to be honest. It's fantastic for a modern iteration of a 262. I'm going to give that 9.5 out of 10. I think that's about right. It's got some fantastic moulding. Those little tiny bits of flash were just on two parts, weren't they, that I could see, and the rest was free of it. So it's not like it's a big problem. And such fine detail in such a small kit. You know, a bit like the IBG Spitfire, but less than half the price. But that was too, though. So in real terms, you can argue it's about the same sort of value, same pricing, really. Very impressed, and thank you very much to Neil from Creative Time Wasting. Thumbs up to him. Hope you'll give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thought that was interesting. Would I recommend this kit? I absolutely would, without any reservation whatsoever. I'd be building that in, you know, if you need a quick mojo build, but you want to get some detail as well. The only downside is to it, it's almost too good, because a bit of a challenge for your eyes in some areas, isn't it? I'm having that problem with my big 30-second mosquito. Anyway, on that subject, there'll be more coming on that very, very soon, I hope. Thank you to Neil, as I say, for loaning us the kit, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for your time watching the video. Don't forget to give us a like, it does help us. Give us a comment, because that helps drive the YouTube algorithm. And I'll be back very soon with some very interesting stuff for you, I think. And until next time, take care of yourselves, stay well, stay safe. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, thanks a lot, and bye for now.